Well, folks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have officially placed Mike Evans on the injured reserve, and they finally also promoted a player from the practice squad to the active roster after he was elevated multiple times throughout this season. Let's talk about it. Shout out to Sleeper, by the way, more on them a little bit later on in this video. So, per Rick Stroud, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have promoted Michael Jordan from the practice squad to the active roster, and they placed Mike Evans on the injured reserve. They also signed Brandon Johnson to the practice squad. Now, we talked about Brandon Johnson going to the practice squad already in a separate video, but Michael Jordan, he ran out of elevations. You only get 3 elevations per player per year on a practice squad. Michael Jordan had been elevated for 3 games. They needed to make some type of move, and they decided to promote him. They had the open spot because Evans went on the IR. Now, Evans going on IR is not surprising, right? It just isn't. With the broken collarbone, with the concussion stuff, we knew Evans was going to miss a lot of time. I talked about that in a separate video. We've all discussed that here on the channel. So there was always going to be that open roster spot. Also, with signing Brandon Johnson, it does give you a lot of guys that you can elevate, right? You don't have to fully promote them going forward. You can elevate Brandon Johnson one week, then you can elevate Garrett Green, then you can elevate Dennis Houston. So they have a lot of versatility in that wide receiver room right now. But with Michael Jordan getting promoted to the active roster, look, it's not surprising either, because Jordan has been a starting offensive lineman for the Bucs this year. Whenever you had the situation where Wirfs was out, you had Graham Barton at left tackle, Michael Jordan was at left guard, Ben Bredesen was at center. That was the situation that they were rolling with. Cody Mock was at right guard, Luke Gedeke was at right tackle, and then even more injuries happened. Wirfs came back. You had Elijah Klein at right guard, Luke Haggard was at right guard, Charlie Heck was at right tackle. He's still at right tackle. And Michael Jordan last week actually played right guard for the Bucs. And going forward, I do believe that is going to be where his spot is. Right now, I picture the offensive line, at least starting going forward, is going to be Tristan Wirfs at left tackle, Ben Bredesen at left guard, Graham Barton at center. I assume Mike Jordan at right guard. They did give him right guard, right tackle work in training camp and in the preseason. And then at right tackle, you are going to have Charlie Heck. And I envision Elijah Klein, Luke Haggard, as well as Dan Feeney as the backup interior offensive line, okay? I don't necessarily see Haggard or Klein starting over Michael Jordan at this point at right guard. Dan Feeney's an interesting guy, could start at right guard. I don't know if any of those guys want to be moved over to right tackle because, Charlie Heck's been very up and down so far this year, but they're also kind of waiting for Luke Gedeke to come back. And that's another thing. When Gedeke comes back, I'm not upset with this offensive line. I mean, Mike Jordan has had his ups and his downs, but hey, he's started a lot of games in his NFL career at left guard throughout his NFL career. I'm perfectly fine with throwing him out there and seeing what he can do in between Barton and in between Luke Gedeke. And you're asking a lot of him. He's never played right guard, started right guard in his NFL career. So I even wonder if they want to experiment a little bit, maybe have Michael Jordan slide back over to left guard, maybe put Ben Bredesen over at right guard, because Bredesen has played right guard before in his career. So I do wonder if they're going to try out some stuff, see what the best formula is, but I'm perfectly content with having Mike Jordan on the roster. I'm even content at this point with the backup interior offensive line. I think Dan Feeney is a very, very solid veteran. I think that Luke Haggard and Elijah Klein held up, especially Luke Haggard, held up better than I think myself and a lot of people thought he was going to hold up, especially after he had a pretty rough start. Like, he really had to get acclimated quickly, and I feel like once he did that, he was okay, especially given the circumstances he was in, right? So it is what it is, man. But shout out Mike Jordan, shout out to the interior offensive line guys as well, and can't wait for Luke Gedeke to come back. But one more thing, everybody, before we go ahead and sign off, shout out to the sponsor of this channel in Sleeper. If you guys do use the code MrBucs, you will get a 100% match up to $100. Again, that is whenever you use the code MrBucs. Also, whenever you guys do sign up, you get $20 for free, just like that. So if you guys do want to go on there, Check out anything regarding the overs and unders of Baker Mayfield and Emeka Ibuka, especially with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin out and stuff like that. You can do all of that over on Sleeper. So, guys, make sure you go download the #1 sports app today. Enjoy football the way it was meant to be. That is together. Huge shout out to Sleeper for being the proud sponsor of this channel. Guys, as always, I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.